There's quite a lot of plants that flower right the way through into early autumn, and one of them is penstemon. They will flower, and also all the lovely shrubby salvias such as Salvia microphylla. But none of them are totally hardy. If we get a really cold winter, they can either be cut back or even killed. So what I like to do every year or two is, as an insurance policy, just take a few cut-ins. So this is a penstemon here. It's still got masses of flower to come. It's not got much on it at the moment because I recently deadheaded it, but there's loads and loads of new flower spikes that will open over the next few weeks. But I've also got quite a few shoots at the front that have got no flowers on, so they make perfect cut-ins. So what I'm going to do is snip off some short cuttings. I only need them fairly short, 2 inches, 5 centimeters, and I'm going to cut them off above a bud, so then that will branch out. And I'm going to take probably about half a dozen from around here, and these will all make really good cuttings so that we'll have plenty of new plants for next year. So that's my cutting material. What we need to do now is get it trimmed up and inserted into a pot, and we'll do that in the greenhouse. So the cuttings are really easy to prepare. So we take our new shoot, and we need to work fairly quickly because we don't want them to wilt. If for whatever reason you can't prepare them straight away, put them in a polythene bag with a bit of water and keep them cool, and that will keep them fresh. But using a sharp knife or very, very sharp pair of secateurs, we're going to cut it just below a leaf joint. And the reason we do that is because that's where there's more of a concentration of hormones that produce the roots. And then I'm just going to use my nails to pinch off the lower leaves, and I'm actually going to take off a second pair of leaves on this, because if we leave too many leaves on, it will wilt quickly. And that basically is our cutting. Trim below the node or the leaf joint there with just a pair of leaves on the top. So I'll prepare the rest and then we can insert them. Now if you are using a knife, I prefer to use a knife, then better if it's sharp. Believe it or not, you're less likely to cut yourself with a sharp knife, but do be careful with knives. And if you find it difficult to cut onto your thumb, which is the way I do it, then do it onto a hard surface. Slice it through like that. Once we've got them all prepared, we can insert them into our pot. So for the compost, we've got a multi-purpose compost, and then I've got some perlite, which adds some air and helps with the drainage in there. So I'm just going to mix that together, just like making pastry this is. And that just helps the cuttings root a little bit. And then fill the pot with compost, keep it nice and loose. We don't want to squash all that air out. They need the air to help them root. And then we are going to put the cutting in, so there's about an inch of the stem down into the compost. So just make a hole with a dibber, put it in, and then just put the compost around and put them in. I'm going to get 6 around the edge of this pot. So 6 cuttings there, and then we would need to give those a drink with some water, and they then need either putting in a propagator somewhere cool at this time of the year, or a cool windowsill, and you need to keep them moist. So the way you can do that is either to give them a spray every day with just plain water, or you can get a polythene bag, pop that over there once you've watered and sprayed them, and then pop that on a windowsill, and that will keep them really fresh and they'll root. And I'll leave them probably in those pots over winter in a cool greenhouse. You could pot them up if you want, but I tend to wait until spring, pot them up, and we'll have lovely bushy plants next year to either plant in the garden, give to friends. But in the event of a bad winter, this is our insurance policy. And if ever you've got any comments or there's any jobs that you'd like us to include in future videos, just drop a message to us. All the contact details are there on the screen.